Hi guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. And today I am super excited to do this interview with Off-Road with Alex Perez with a very special guest and an author of Trained Make U-Turns. We're not only gonna be interviewing this special guest or our special guest, but we're also gonna be getting a lesson on the 5 steps to getting your life back in track. So with that being said, mi gente, let's get this interview started. I can't wait to show you all this content and share everything that this book has to offer. So with that being said, mi gente, let's get this interview started. Come on, let's go. Mi gente, I am going to introduce you to Mr. Seth Sherwood. How are you, senor?
All right. Great to be here. Alex, thank you very much for the invitation. Very, very cool to be in this super neat Jeep. This is, I feel like a little kid with this big toy, and heading up into the mountains. Super excited to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
No, thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge, your content. And so let's start off. Obviously, this channel is about off-road and entrepreneurships and road to success. So talk to us a little about who you are, where you come from, your ups and downs, and share us a little bit about Mr. Seth Sherwood.
Sure. Originally from Massachusetts, so I'm a huge Patriots fan. Patriots fan, Boston Bruins fan.
Wait, so how did that happen when Brady left?
I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan now. Love Brady, but I'll always be a Patriots fan.
Yeah, of course.
I followed them since the '60s, and love sports. My father was big into sports. Love golf, love tennis, love soccer, football, baseball, everything. Huge into sports. Love that. Just love doing this, being in the outdoors, fresh air. Very cool. I went to University of Massachusetts. I went to the University of New Haven. After that, spent a couple years in the Peace Corps down in Chile y después Honduras. En Honduras trabajé en un campamento de refugiados, un pueblo que se llama Mocorón, los refugiados de Nicaragua.
Wait, you speak Spanish?
Hablo español. Soy medio chapín. Soy medio chapín. Mi mamá es de Guatemala.
Awesome.
Y siempre pasamos vacaciones en Guatemala los veranos. So did that, and then in 1986 or so, personally my life was starting to go downhill. Things weren't going well. Broke off an engagement, and the work, the finances weren't going well. So my great idea was, I'm going to come out to California. Voy a ir a California, ahí dice que todo está bien y puede ganar un montón de dinero y vivir bien en California. So I came here en 87 y hay como un dicho de donde uno va, uno queda lo mismo, ¿verdad? So I came out to California, but I brought my problems with me. And so that's when finally, a couple years later, in 1989, that's when I was fortunately, gratefully able to turn my life around and not live that life of, I used to party. For me, it was party. And I love to party. I love music. I love dancing. I love having fun, of course. But I just had to make a big change, and that happened in 1989. And then since then, I had a career as a marketing research consultant, and then I did 15 years as a school teacher. Okay. Some of that was with Norwalk La Mirada School District, and then the bulk of it was with Santa Ana Unified. Half of that was with elementary school, and the other half, about 7, 8 years, at Santa Ana High School as a high school English teacher. Loved it. I'm a saint. I'm a Santa Ana High School saint, and I love that. And then in 2005, I decided to make a career change, and my wife at that time thought I was crazy because as a school teacher, I had security, I had really good salary, benefits, everything. And I changed careers, transitioned, and I started working for a company called Dale Carnegie as a facilitator. So still a teacher, but more in the business world.
Correct.
And then I did that, and I loved the Dale Carnegie program, the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Loved doing that, and then later on, while I was delivering classes for Dale Carnegie, it was requested if I could do these programs in Espanol. So I did the programs, the leadership programs for Vallarta, and then later on we started our own business, and I did a similar program for Cárdenas, and I've done some for Northgate Gonzalez in Inglés y en Español, and that's been for the last, again, about 15 years that we've had our own business. The first one, it was called Lanzamiento de Líderes, and now we call it, the name is Sherwood Coaching and Keynotes. So we do classes, facilitate the classes, and also do keynote speeches in English or in Spanish.
Nice.
And that's how you got to know me, because I was teaching one of those classes, and continue to do that. Love it. Love seeing people grow, love seeing people achieve their vision, their goals, their dreams. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I love what I do, and and I meet great people, and hopefully they are empowered, they grow, and they can change their lives around too.
Definitely, and I mean, you're very knowledgeable. Now I know why you're so good at what you do, because you had the teaching background. So that, I'm sure that really helped out a lot.
The teaching, the elementary was fun. The 3rd through 5th grade mostly. Loved it, and then the transition to the high school, that was very different, and I love teaching at the high school level. Very grateful for all those years as a public school teacher.
How was it when you were a school teacher, had that security of a job, and then I'm gonna go explore elsewhere to maybe find your actual passion? How was that transition? How was the mindset? Obviously, when you make those changes, things don't come easy. Can you elaborate a little bit on how those transitions happen?
Sure. So during that time as a school teacher, I was reading more books on self-development. You know, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn. And part of what a lot of them say is you got to take risks in life. If you want to do what you love doing, you gotta get out of that security and just go for it.
Out of your comfort zone.
It was a leap of faith. And it was a struggle. Believe me, it was a struggle, because we were getting a regular paycheck as a school teacher with benefits, and then to go and depend on gigs and
whether you make them or not.
Yeah. So it was a struggle, and it was not easy, but I have no regrets. Love that I made that. I'm very grateful that I was able to make that transition. But again, for anyone out there who's thinking of making a career change, I think now might be a great time after this pandemic to say, hey, I don't want to do this job, this career that I've had for a number of years. Maybe I'll try something else. And I had to do a lot of soul searching and figure out what do I really enjoy doing, and what are my talents, what are the gifts that God has given me, and how can I use those best to serve other people. So that was the leap of faith I made, and I'm very grateful that I did that.
You know what? That's so true, because we just had Omar from Med Options, and he actually mentioned something like that. He said you have to find what you like to do, find your talents deep inside, because sometimes you don't know your actual talent unless you throw yourself out there and figure them out, right? So I'm assuming that's something that happened to you. Left the teaching school, went into the hustle in one way, and it just all worked out for you, because that was what, kind of a passion that you had, right? I mean, you said you love what you do, you love helping people, delivering the knowledge, so that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And part of it is, I think, when we reflect back on our childhood and our experiences that we've had. My father was a college professor, and I took his class. He was an economics professor, but he was an entertainer. He was in shows, he was in plays, he was in musicals. So when we were kids, my brother and I think my sister might have come a couple times, but we saw my father in musicals singing and dancing on stage. And we were going like, I can't believe that's our father. He's singing and dancing on stage. He was one called The Pajama Game. It was like, the pajama game is the game I'm in. And it was like, wow. So eventually I joined an organization called Toastmasters, which is about improving your public speaking. And I had a tremendous, like most people, tremendous fear of public speaking. And it just takes that action, that, practicing over and over again to conquer that fear. But eventually, I believe you are able to conquer that fear and get over there and have fun. And remember, it's not about me. How am I looking? How am I sounding? How am I doing? But hopefully to transmit a message to the audience, whether it's just let's have fun, play some songs, sing, tell some stories, some fun stories, or something, maybe more deep, that it's like, hey, find out what you want to do, like you just said, in life, and then go for it. Go 100% for it.
Dive in. I always say to be able to be successful and on making your dreams come true is like the way I learned how to swim.
Yeah.
I was about 6, 7 years old actually, and my uncle just threw me in the pool. He's like, figure it out, paddle.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, I had to learn how to swim in a couple of seconds before I drowned. So it's one of those, right? A metaphor. But talk to us a little bit about how that transition, right? Now you're 100% on your own, you're getting all these accounts. How was it to be fully independent and now speaking, teaching, and bringing your own subjects to the companies?
Right. So one of the first principles I learned from the Dale Carnegie course as a facilitator, as a participant, and then a facilitator, was that life is really all about relationships. Relationships, how do I feel about my relationship with myself? How self-confident, my self-esteem, my relationship for me personally with God. Second, my relationship with my family, with my spouse, with my kids, and my relationship with everyone, with you, with Hernan, with everyone. And it's not about me, even though it's my favorite topic, me, right? But it's like, to be in one of the principles of Dale Carnegie is to be interested in other people. So I was always only interested in me, because I thought I was the center of the universe. So to be interested and listen to other people and what they do and their history and their personality and their career and things like that and their family was a 180-degree shift. And I realized, wow, because as I said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Maybe we're supposed to listen twice as much as we speak. So I realized, hey, there is a lot to this as far as being interested in other people. So when you're interested in other people, you're going to want to meet other people, meet new people. And you never know what you hear from the people that you meet. It could be something that a challenge that you're going through, and you realize, wow, I just talked to this person at this meeting, at this get together, at this event, and he or she told me something that's going to help answer the problem that I'm in right now. So it's really about putting other people first in any way and every way you can. And believe me, I'm not perfect. I mean, you can ask Letty. She'll say he's pretty selfish and self-centered still, and I am. And we all can improve. We can all grow, especially in that area, on how we can help other people, how we can be interested in other people, how I cannot criticize and judge other people, accept other people, and do my best to learn from them and empower them. How can I help other people? And part of it is just, being respectful, and then, if there's anything that I can do to help a person, whether it's with work, whether it's, listening, I believe that's what I'm supposed to do.
All right, Mr. Seth, well, we made it to our site to do our lesson for today. And I actually read your book. And by the way, guys, Trains Make U-Turns is an awesome book. And one of the reasons why we're here today is because I want Mr. Seth Sherwood to elaborate a little bit about this information that he wrote, which I thought it was very, very interesting and very, very important. Deepo, talk to us a little bit about that interesting word that you came up with and how you broke it down. I thought it was awesome, and I thought it was very interesting.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Alex. After doing a number of years in Toastmasters, entering some speech contests, and deciding I want to continue in that direction and get out there and speak and present and perhaps make it my career, I had a coach, and my coach told me, you need to write a book. And I said, I don't want to write a book. My coach said, you need to write a book. What do I write the book about? She said, write about your experience, write about your past, write about what works in your life, where you're at in your career and your family in every area. So I sat down, I started writing. Actually, that book took me over 5 years to write. And I would tell friends that I'm writing a book and it'll be ready for Christmas time, the holidays. It'll be a gift book. And Christmas would come and they said, "Where's your book?" "It's not ready yet." And that happened the second year also. It's gonna be out there. Buy it for a friend, a family member. And it wasn't happening. And then I had a number of friends that said, "You're not writing a book, you're full of baloney." And finally I had to get, one of the habits that I needed to do and I learned is if I want something done, I need to do it early in the morning before anything and everything else. And so I finally got down and made the commitment and took action and wrote that book early in the morning for about 3 months. Every morning from about 6 to 7 before I started to get into my work life. And that's what I came up with, is what works for me. Trains make U-turns because at that point, as I said, my coach suggested that I write something about me. And my life, as I mentioned earlier, was going downhill. I was like a train wreck. And I realized if I kept going in that direction, who knows what
where
would
you're
happen,
gonna end up
right?
at.
So the term trains make U-turns, most people, when I tell them the title or they see the title, they say that trains don't make U-turns. You know, they're trains, they go straight. And I realized for me, that's what happened, is that the kind of person that I used to be and the kind of person that I want to be and that I am when I wrote that book is like a U-turn, 180 degrees different. So I had some different ideas and I put together the 5 simple steps, and it's in the form of the acronym DEPOT, D-E-P-O-T, like a train depot. So the first one is the D. The first, I think it's in chapter 2 after doing a brief intro, stands for direction. And what has worked for me is to be living an intentional life. Know where I see myself going in 10 years, in 5 years, in 3 years, and have direction in life. Because most people, what I've learned from studies that they've done is just kind of float around. They're not sure what they want to do. And I was that way. I floated around. I would have a friend that would come up to me and say, "Hey, I got a way you can make $5,000 a month easy with just 3 hours of work a week." And I thought, okay, I'll try it. And I tried that and it didn't work. And I was selling some kind of health drink juice, right? And I tried that and some other ones, some other multi-marketing programs, businesses, and that's fine if that works for you. For me, it didn't work. So I needed to really spend some time with myself and realize, what do I see myself doing as a career? And using the gifts that I believe God gave me, my talents, my gifts, for my career, and also for the purpose of helping other people. So the D is direction, is to have your dreams, your vision, your goals, so that you're moving forward. We also call it living an intentional life. And that really helps, especially in the area of time management, because we're not wasting time doing things that really aren't moving us forward in that specific direction. The E in DEPOT stands for enthusiasm. And I believe it was Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Nothing great was achieved without enthusiasm." So that's where the attitude comes in. It's got to be something that you're excited about, that you love doing. It could be art, it could be singing, it could be doing films, videotaping and editing videos, whatever that might be, but something that you're passionate about, and bring that energy. And it's our responsibility to keep that energy and that enthusiasm up. So sometimes we have to be kind of like our own cheerleader. Yeah. It's like, because life comes, right? Life comes and it's like, oh man, this thing is happening and we got to pay this and the IRS and whatever. It's like, hey, you know what? There's going to be obstacles in our life. We got to keep up that attitude of enthusiasm and also of resilience. Because there's going to be some times where we're going to be knocked down, and we got to have that enthusiasm to come back up and keep moving forward.
Yeah, and let me ask you something on what you just talked about. With your knowledge, obviously there's people that have to be motivated, and then there's people that are self-motivated, right? How would you keep that enthusiasm with somebody that needs to kind of be motivated every single time?
Yeah.
What advice would you give us or the audience?
Yeah, so I write in the book that we can't find the solution until we know the problem. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we need to do, that I still need to do, is to take a pause. Because if I'm feeling negative and I'm criticizing other people, is for me to kind of take a step back and watch myself and realize, wow, I'm in a crappy mood. Wow, I'm not saying kind and loving things to my wife. And it's nothing that she did or anyone did, it's me. So I take that pause and I realize, okay, I got to do something different. What works for me to turn things around? So it's not only trains make U-turns for your life or your career, but sometimes it's trains make U-turns in your day. when you're feeling crappy, when you don't want to do anything, and realize, okay, I can stay in this mess, in this cesspool all day and maybe another day, or I can turn it around. So everyone has different tools that they can use to help turn things around during the day.
Okay.
For me, one of them is the music. Sometimes I'll get on my guitar, I play the guitar, I'll play some rock and roll, I'll turn up some music, my iTunes, and listen to some rock and roll from the 60s, from the 70s, something to get me motivated, something to get me moving. Another tool that I use is exercise. Because if we're sitting too long, sometimes we can just get down. So it might just be a walk around, right? And walk around the neighborhood. Sometimes I might put my workout clothes on and go for a little jog. But normally, even if it's just doing jumping jacks or push-ups, normally those two things and some others are going to help me to get out of that funk and move forward with the enthusiasm.
That's awesome. Play something for us real quick. I'm just kidding. I don't have a guitar.
I've got my iTunes later on.
Awesome. Let's jump into the P.
Sure. So again, these are tools that work for me. The P stands for physical fitness. For me, it's very important to be in the best physical fitness shape that I can be in. And that means exercising. For me, it's about four times a week. And the food I eat. Now, it's a process. I still eat a lot of sugar, cookies, cake. I still eat a lot of,
That's hard to get away from.
Yeah, I love the fries at In-N-Out. And sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. But being in the best physical shape, making it a habit. And we know that, you know that, success is really the habits that we have. And sometimes we have really good habits and sometimes habits aren't so bad. So the idea is which ones are helping me move forward in my vision, in my direction, and which ones are holding me back. So part of it is, well, if I know that, that I have to have in my top physical shape, have that energy that we talked about before, then what am I doing on a regular basis to stay healthy?
Correct.
To stay healthy and to have that physical energy, the muscles, the ligaments, the joints, the tendons, the heart, the lungs, everything. Eat well, the fruits and veggies. It's lots of the life I've learned in life, lots of things come back to what my mother used to tell us. Eat your fruits and vegetables. Eat your vegetables. I always hated peas. And she said, eat your peas. And I couldn't leave the table until I ate my peas. And I would take them one at a time and drink them with some milk. But I realize now, years and years later, that I eat kale now. And I hated kale, and I eat kale salad, but I know that it's good for me. So the vegetables, the fruit, the protein, I've tried so many different things, keto and other things, but as long as I make sure that I do my best to eat some fruits and vegetables and protein, not too much on the carbs, and I get some exercise in, then that's gonna help me, again, move towards my vision. Yeah, the O in depot stands for others first. And so this is something that has taken me a long time to learn because my life before was very selfish and self-centered. It was all about me. I was the center of the universe and what's in it for me. And I've learned in life it's all about relationships, and I've learned what am I doing to help other people. My mother, and again, this is something one of my momisms, used to tell us it's better to give than to receive. And I am very fortunate the parents that I had, my mother and father, and my mother, very loving, very caring, very spiritual, but when she would tell us that it is better to give than to receive, I remember then and then years later, I said, Mom, I would think, Mom, you are an awesome mother. You just don't got that one right. It's better to receive. I like getting toys. I like getting big checks. I like having money. And then slowly realizing, no, it actually is better to serve others. So that's what the O is for. It's serving others, is helping other people. And then we actually get back more than we give.
How funny how that works, right?
Yeah.
It always you hear it and you're like, nah, that's not true. But then you actually you put it to work, and then things do happen, and you help others, and you definitely get something back. The universe, God, everybody calls it something different. It will come back to you. So let's talk about the T.
Sure, and the T goes back similar to the second one as far as enthusiasm. The T stands for thankfulness. To have that attitude of just being grateful, being thankful, all the blessings. Sometimes we can focus on the negative. Sometimes we compare ourselves to other people, friends, colleagues, and we see all their big house, the car, everything they have, and realize, how come I'm not like they are? How come, they're so successful? And for me, it's very important, and that's what I write about in the book, just to be thankful. We talked about coffee a little while ago. Every morning, I thank God for coffee.
Yes.
The flavor, after I have my quiet time in the morning, I make my coffee and I'm in heaven. The flavor of the coffee, I have it with like a half and half creamer, and it's a hot coffee, and then just the caffeine. It's like,
just
wow.
Feel it in your veins.
Yeah. Now I can go overboard, and I did years ago. I went overboard. I would have 3 or 4 cups of coffee by 11 o'clock, and I would get this sharp pain in my head. I went to the doctors and I said, "Yeah, I don't know." And I'm thinking I've got a tumor. I've got something, fatal. And the doctor said, she asked me, what's your daily habit as far as food intake and beverages? Well, I drink, 3 or 4 cups of coffee before 11. She said, well, that might be it. You need to drink less coffee. So I did a cold turkey. I completely stopped. And I didn't know that if you are drinking caffeinated coffee, regular coffee, and then you stop completely, you're going to go through these kind of like withdrawals.
Yes.
And my headaches and everything. So now it's 1 cup of coffee in the morning. I might have 1 in the afternoon. But that's just one of the examples of things that I'm very, very, very grateful for. I can go during the morning and throughout the day, I do my best to make a list and be thankful for my physical health, my family, my work. I'm alive, and things are good. Life is good. It's not perfect, but I am living, and I do my best to live what I write about in that book and living that life of intention.
And I love everything that you put in this book, and also, this is my second cup of coffee, and straight from Colombia. Thank you, Hernan.
Yeah, go Colombia!
Mr. Seth, I have another one. The power of connection. You wrote something in here about teamwork, to work together towards one common vision. Can you talk to us a little bit about how the power of connection is important, and talk to us a little bit about this?
So in going back to the chapter about direction, about going for our vision, we need other people to get us there, to help us get there. And we might have family and friends and colleagues who are going to help us. Some people use what's called a mastermind, sharing ideas to help us achieve our goals and our vision. But basically, we're going to need other people. You can go, and this, a person can go farther with a team rather than by just himself or herself alone. So part of that is just making sure that we have that unity. And I don't know about you, but I see a lot, especially in the United States, in our country, there's a lot of disunity. There's a lot of division in our world and in our country. And I just have to do my best to help people come together. We're all in this thing together, And as far as moving forward, how can I help other people? And like we talked about earlier, that what you sow is what you reap. When I'm helping other people are going to come and help me. So how can we you have your team, how can we put a team together that's going to move forward? It might be your sales team. And if you have a team that has that concept, and we see it a lot in sports, the teams that work together really well. We see it in the military. You have to be in sync with your fellow soldiers. They're going to be successful. So that team, that unity is huge. And sometimes we don't know who's going to be a part of our team, but we'll have that connection. We'll click with someone and say, wow, I like his personality, her personality, and they're very professional, and they could be from completely different backgrounds, but you start forming a team, and it's like, wow, we are really moving forward, and you're helping each other.
And my next question to you is, how or what advice would you give us? How can you learn how to look for on say, a salesperson, a team member, an agent, a co-worker, where you're gonna be able to pick and choose them to say, you know what, he can be a leader, he's a different type of, he can take us to another level. What would we be able to look for to get that person on?
So you reminded me of a book. I don't remember the author, but I think the title is Never Eat Alone. And the idea is, when you have an opportunity, make it a habit, maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks, to take someone out either for coffee or for lunch and get to know them. Especially when you're eating a meal together, there's something that people normally will just they'll put their guard down.
Yeah.
And they'll enjoy the food. I mean, I like eating, and I also like a free lunch. So if someone invites me and said, "Hey, let me take you out to lunch," it was like, "Yeah, sure." We like that person more, and we start to develop more and more trust. So that's how you can tell. Normally, one of the ways you can tell. Is this a person that's going to be really good on my team? Is this person someone that's going to be effective? Is someone that doesn't have other issues? And people have other issues. They have baggage. At the same time, if you look at how they can contribute and how you can help them, and they're open in that when you're having that meal, then normally it might click. Like I said before, it might click. Was like, wow, I want this person on my team. I'm just going to see if it might be a possibility to have him or her join our team.
Awesome. And last but not least, I always say that value is always going to be bigger than price, right? Value over price. Can you talk to us a little bit about what your thought about that is? Why is it important to always give value versus price?
Sure. And I thought we were going to say the last thing that I want to ask you is where can the audience buy this book? But that's just kidding.
Well,
anyway,
that's
just
at
kidding.
the end.
Just kidding. Just kidding. It's on Amazon. At the same time, part of it is a big, and I write about a big part that we need to achieve our dreams, our vision, our goals, is to have that patience. So when we are leading a team, when we're doing sales, lots of times just as human beings, we want results right now. We want, and I'm very guilty of that. I'm not feeling well. I want to get some kind of rush. I'll eat some sugar, and I'll be good. I'll go up, and then of course I'll go down.
Crash.
Coffee. So I want to have that check. I want to have that commission, whatever it is, right now. And the idea is we're putting other people first. We're helping other people. We're being servant leaders, and just be patient. And just be patient. If we are truly aiming and going for the direction, our vision, it's going to come. We have to have that attitude. We have to believe. Mm-hmm. And we might make it a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan. It might take a little bit longer as far as the goals go. And it's okay if it does take longer. I mean, years ago, my wife and I had a plan to buy a house, and it was a big one. I had never bought a house before, and it was a big goal to have. We didn't buy it the year that we set out to buy it. We bought it the following year.
Okay.
So we had the goal. We had the spreadsheet up on the refrigerator where we were with the deposit and everything like that, and it didn't happen. And first of all, I was like, oh man, are we ever going to buy a house? And then I learned to say, hey, you can move that goal, move the timeline up. And we did end up buying a house, first house that I ever bought. The following year. So part of it is just to have that patience, to continue to move forward, because what a lot of people do is like I used to be, is we're impatient. Things aren't happening fast enough, and it's like, no, I got to change careers. No, I got to change where I'm living. I got to change my spouse. I got to change. No, we don't have to change. We just have to keep moving forward. And a lot of it comes down to personal responsibility. What am I doing on a daily basis as far as even we talk about time management, but it's actually self-management. What am I doing in my day to spend it so I am moving forward with my vision, right? And at the end of the day, like we talked about before, it might not just be 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours of work. It might be 14 hours. But if you have your vision, that's what's going to, and you're patient and you keep working on it, you keep moving forward, eventually you're going to achieve that vision. And it's not about achieving your vision, it's the person you become by overcoming those obstacles, by building those new relationships, by having that attitude of gratitude. It's like, hey, I'm enjoying life. I'm actually having fun in life. It's not work. It's not boring. It's not dull. It's challenging. I'm moving forward, and I am getting there.
Yeah, that's the interesting part of that is because look at our surroundings. We have the time to do this. Come out here, and this is why we started this channel. I wanted to share the knowledge. Obviously, learning from yourself. I've learned a lot. Your book is awesome. We've done coaching before. I've learned from other entrepreneurs that I've had on the show, and it just sometimes you get to know how to plan life, how others have done it. Right? And then next thing you know, it's not even work anymore. Because now your brain adjusted to this is something that you do so repeatedly. Like you mentioned earlier, how the military does it. Everybody's in sync. Well, it's because they do things so much over and over and over and over again that it just becomes muscle memory.
Right.
And that's the important part of it. Always stay focused. Never lose the vision. Never lose the goal. Change the plan, but not the goal.
Right. And on that, the plan, we do want to have a plan. We talk about that in the 4 factors of success. We do want a plan. If you have to go back to school, if you have to get signed a certificate or some degree, or you learn a new software program, let's say, you do have to have a plan. But just like you said, you have to be flexible. Because we have a plan, we're following it, and this is where the wisdom comes in. Because you see, maybe my plan's not working. Maybe I should adjust it. So be patient, but at the same time, yeah, if it's not working and you feel inspired, maybe you're talking to people at your mastermind, or you're talking to your friends who know what your goal is, what your vision is, and you get the ideas that say, hey, maybe I should change my plan, then, don't act immediately, but think, hey, maybe it's time to adjust the plan a little bit. Because it's that saying that's overused many times. You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And at the same time realize, hey, yeah, maybe I can tweak it. I need to be patient, but maybe it is time for something different. I know Tony Robbins used to say when he had a challenge achieving his vision and goals, he would ask himself that question before he went to sleep. How can I overcome this challenge? How can I move forward with this? And lots of times, from reading his book, it was like the answer would come to him at night, or he would wake up in the morning and say, oh, that's an idea that I can apply, that I can use to help move forward. So like you said, we never want to give up. Just sometimes we always want to have the plan, but sometimes we need to adjust it and be flexible.
If you want to get a copy of this book, you can actually go to Amazon and look for it. Trains Make U-Turns. Right?
Está en español. Los trenes dan media vuelta. 5 pasos simples para encarrilar su vida. Algo así.
All right, mi gente, we will be giving out a free book to the 5th comment, or the comment that gives us the most takeaway that they got from this interview. All right, Mr. Seth, well, thank you once again for being here with me and doing this Off-Road with Alex Perez. Mi gente, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video, and I will see you into the next one.